Hey folks, Bernakevitch here with All Points Design. That's allpointsdesign.ca. And today we're talking about the Oregon State University permaculture template. Specifically, we're talking about the base map and legends. Now, when it comes to legends, at least for this course, basically, if you have something on your map somewhere here, it should be on your legend. And it's very important to take the time and the effort to do that because it gives us a sense of what you have decided to visually represent with the symbols you've chosen and what is actually on the legend. So we can decode the landscape, so to speak. If you have a um, a background image, like if we pull in that aerial photo, we're going to get a sense of what's behind there, but we need for the base map to stand separate from that aerial legend. So it can stand by itself. So we can interpret the landscape from it. So as we take a look at this legend, basically, if there's anything here, see, we have orange buildings. Over here, we have buildings, and I've done a numerical order 1, 2, 3. 1 is the house, 2 is the garage, 3 is the shed. That's labeled. I have a sense of that. If there's other areas that I can't necessarily put in here, I've just labeled them directly, balcony, awning. Now, normally we want to label everything horizontally, just to make it easy on your graders and yourselves in the future, but every once in a while we can get away with just labeling it as is, especially if it's a specific area. The clients here spend a lot of time on the balcony. They want this to be a more private area that we're going to see in the microclimate and in the zones and sectors that there's a lot of undesirable influences on this balcony. So this is important to take the time to put everything here onto the legend. Now, in anticipation of this, I've left something off of the legend. There's actually 2 things left off of the legend. And the main one is the concrete asphalt. So I've got this little polyline shape here, and I can move it around and show that that's exactly what I'm talking about. And this is concrete or asphalt. And there's 2 areas here. If you take a look at the coloration, we have an area in between the awning and the back gate for the backyard. And we have the sidewalk. Too many tutorials. The sidewalk itself. So over here, what I've done is I have these small squares that are overlaid on the template. And I'm just going to copy one of them, and then I'm going to bring it up to that concrete asphalt. I'm going to click on that polyline, grab my trusty formatting tool and click on that. And now the concrete and asphalt is formatted. And funny enough, I did notice something that I missed. I brought in the sliding door icon right here in between the balcony, which I'll need to add to my legend, lest I have my grader be upset with me. So if there's anything in your legend, if you put anything in your legend, it should be here. And make sure that every aspect of your site is covered. Make sure that if your grader turns back to your overhead, you're not missing a tree or a shrub or anything else that might be missing, which I've actually just noticed. The client took down this other poplar tree and turned it into a throne. So actually I need to add another little icon here, which is the throne, because it's very stable. They basically took the tree and with a chainsaw cut a seat into it as for good times, let's say. So anyways, you make sure that everything that you put into your site is in the legend. If it's on your site, it's in the legend. Some things like utilities, we could make multiple symbols and line weights and all the rest of it, but I'm more than fine with just sewer and water, natural gas to garage, electric to garage, overhead power. I tend to use dotted lines for underground, and I tend to use solid lines for overground. It's a convention when you get into drafting where dotted lines are the reveal or the behind, and solid lines is what could be seen potentially by the naked eye. I leave it to you. This is not a drafting course. This is not a graphic standards course. We are trying to raise the bar a bit, but it is still about the designer's mind you build in between your ears. It's not what's on the page that really matters as much. All right, folks, I'll see you in the next tutorial.